Alright guys, so I'm going to show you guys how to feed day-old African gray chicks. We're going to start with this for the first 3 days, Formula 1. It's filled with a lot of minerals, vitamins, and a lot of glucose to get them, to the next stage of development. Okay, so I use 130-degree water to start. Alright, I'm going to take a couple scoops of this. I'm just going to eyeball it. For the first 3 days of development, it's really thin. It's just warm water and just really thin. This is what it looks like. Basically like baby powder, but it smells like cotton candy. So I'm just going to put about 2 scoops into the cup and add just a little bit of the water. The water is 130 degrees because once I add it into here and mix it, it'll lose a significant amount of heat to make it the 105 to 108 temperature we're looking for. So I'm going to mix this pretty well. So this is the consistency for the first 3 days. It's very thin, pretty much like water. Okay, and considering the amount of time that passed, this is appropriate temperature now. I'm going to take out the 2 babies that hatched yesterday. This is Malawi and Morocco. So for the first 3 days, I start with an eyedropper. We'll get started. So don't worry about not sure what to do or anything. It's a learning process. So there you go. So we're gonna put it right on the side of his mouth. Let him tell you how much he wants. Alright, so once I start wiggling, I kind of let them go, give them a break, and I'll start with the next chick, which is this guy. Okay. So same thing. There you go. And you're going to do just enough to see the crop inflate to about the size of a pea, which it did. I just want to make sure I did both. Yeah. Alright, so the first day of feeding, the first day of hatch, after 8 to 10 hours is when I'll start feeding. I usually like to wait till after they make their first bowel movement, let them know that the digestive system is working well and we're ready to begin feeding. On the first day to the third day, we're going to feed every 2 hours around the clock. Alright? And starting on the third or fourth day to about day 7, it'll be switched to around every 2.5 hours, but we'll stop at midnight and start again at 6 a.m. And they'll tell you when, they're ready by, the crying and things like that. So this is what I put them in 2 days before they're scheduled to hatch. I'll take them out of my incubator, put them into my brooder, the Brinty TLC Eco. It's sufficient enough. In my opinion, it doesn't keep the humidity high enough, so I basically flood the bottom with a towel and just pour water on it every couple hours to make sure that humidity is above the 70% mark. So these guys, again, were born yesterday. So on the third or fourth day, we're going to add 1 scoop of this formula with any kind of formula that you normally would use, whether that's KD or anything, basically any baby food formula you can start at that time. And I'll start using a syringe like this to monitor the amount of food that we're using, and a little more robust when they're ready to really take the food. So again, this was the first day, the first couple days of feeding. I'll make another video when they're a little bit older, and we'll go from there. Alright, thanks so much.